Hi, it's Wednesday, the 15th of January, and we're going to look at some astrology. The first thing I'm going to do is actually share today's chart so we can look at the astrology software. Here we go. Right. I did say yesterday that I would focus on the Saturn Venus conjunction, which is coming up. And I think it's about right to do that now. It will start being felt in the atmosphere. So we've got Venus at 1242. That's close enough to 13. So it's kind of like there's 13 and Saturn's at about 16. So they're 3 degrees apart. Now, um, this is probably one of the most painful aspects in astrology, anything to do with Venus, Saturn. So I thought it worth focusing on. Now, when I say the most painful aspects, that's in a birth chart. I'll just stop sharing. Hang on a minute. There we go. So in a birth chart where we have a Saturn aspecting Venus, then as I say, it's one of the most painful, personally painful aspects, which we spend a lifetime trying to get get the better of. Okay, when it happens in transiting astrology, so for all of us, this approaching aspect will be tightening now, and the effect will be starting to be felt. It has a slightly different sort of feeling when we're born with something. So when you're born with a natal chart with a Saturn Venus, then you spend a lifetime working with that same aspect. In transiting astrology, it's transient, it's transiting. So it's felt by the collective for that period of time, and then it goes. So there is a difference. Um, I'm just going to talk about them, and I might say, and this is for natal astrology and this is for transiting astrology. We'll see how it goes. Right, okay. First thing to say is that these two planets are both Earth planets. Venus is very much an Earth planet, and it talks about the things that we can physically feel and own and possess and physical success. Okay, now they're both in Pisces, and so the effect is somewhat watered down by Pisces, I have to say. In Venus in Pisces finds it difficult to believe that owning something manifest and corporeal is the be all and end all. Venus in Pisces is more inclined to look towards the mystical, look towards things that are numinous, that are supernatural, things that are incorporeal, spiritual things. Um, Venus in Pisces is likely to feel that one's worth is about how much one can contribute to the collective, that you feel that you have value if you are able to take up voluntary work, for instance, or a compassionate stance in life. Okay, it still remains that it is an Earth planet. Saturn in Pisces is wanting to establish boundaries. Pisces is about dissolution and the dissolving of boundaries. So Saturn finds it hard to really exercise his great power in Pisces, and Pisces suffers while Saturn is there. The energy of Pisces suffers in all its guises, both in our natal charts and in the sky around us, because it feels as if it isn't good enough, that there is a demand that it can't meet, and Pisces likes to meet all demands. Okay, so putting these two together in transiting astrology, so how it feels now is it's about something that we feel that we could be valued by by its achievement. So to achieve something that affirms us, that says, I am valuable, I have worth because I have succeeded here. So now, if the success is going to be denied, because Saturn is a planet that denies in order to teach us lessons, in order to test us, Saturn removes things so that we have to struggle to attain it. And in that struggle, by working hard, we establish and gain the thing that Saturn has denied us. And because we have done that and we're here to struggle and do that, great, that's great, successful. Okay, we've learned that lesson. Okay, so looking at these two in Pisces, just coming back to that. So there is something in the collective to do with compassion and to do with loving thy neighbor and to do with love with a capital L, love for humanity, love for the bigger things in life. So love for the planet, love for life itself. And belief in God, belief in spiritual things, belief in deity, all the spiritual values that we have. It's about getting a sense of non-attainment, of not being able to have that whimsical, wishful thing. Now, it could be you want your football team to win, or it could be that you have always wanted a particular Barbie doll and you've never had it. You could be reminded of things that you have always pined and yearned and longed for, but you haven't been able to achieve. And so it's denying us a sense of achievement. It's denying us a sense of success. So we get a bit of a down feeling, if you like, of, well, what's the point? And who am I? And I can't influence anything. And nothing I want ever comes true. And I just feel doubtful. And I just feel sometimes depressed because I'm not successful. So that's kind of like how it should be feeling for us over the next 3 days, 4 days. And it can be quite a sobering thing. Now we've got the sun in Capricorn at the same time, so it's not as if we're helped out by the sun's position. The sun struggles in Capricorn. It's too earthy, far too earthy for the sun. Sun wants to be free. We've got Mercury in Capricorn, and so therefore we're not helped out by anything here. And so we turn to the moon, and the moon is in Leo, okay, for another day at least. It's in fire. There's some of the joy and some of the confidence there in Leo, except that Leo isn't the most confident of the fire signs. That would be Sagittarius. And so for Leo, there's an overwhelming sense of not being able to achieve, piled up on the other side of the sky. And the moon itself is not a strong planet. It describes our yin. It describes what's going on inside, our secret selves. And so whilst we might want to be confident and outgoing at the moment, and we might find that actually everything feels quite depressive and lacking in success. There is actually something that we can all do with this kind of atmosphere, and that is to engage in an act of compassion, engage in an act of selfless help for others. Do something voluntarily for others that will help them. Because it's in those acts undertaken now that we get a sense of quiet, a feeling of doing good, a quiet satisfaction. Okay, that was worth it. I'm glad I did that. I helped that person. So that is something to aim for at the moment, and you will find rewards in it. Absolutely. At the moment, the sky is set up like that. Okay. So that's transiting astrology, and that's for the collective, and those are the type of things that might be going on at the moment, and certainly over the next 3 days. However, in a natal chart, so what happens there? So if your Venus is aspecting Saturn in a natal chart, Saturn is doing its usual testing job and denying Venus the opportunity and chance to feel as if Venus can be successful. So the part of you that reaches for success and wants affirmation of that success, and usually through property or ownership of some description. I must be successful because I have a roof over my head. I must be successful because I can buy myself something. I must be successful because of. So it can be about physical things. And they give us a sense of confidence. I am successful. I'm using this word a lot. However, Saturn wants to put us through a testing, and so denies us that in order that we have to reach for it. Don't forget what I'm always saying here. When the cosmos wants us to learn about something, the first thing it does is plunge us into a place where we haven't got it and we can't reach it. So if the cosmos wants me to learn about light, the first thing it's going to do is plunge me into darkness. And I will learn far more about light sitting there in the dark than I ever could being in the light. So just think about that. This is the kind of lesson that Saturn comes with. Venus would prefer it if Saturn wasn't around, because without Saturn and all this testing rigmarole, Venus would simply be about my worth, my self-value, my ego, my self-esteem, and what I can do to give myself that feeling. Saturn is there to flip that coin over and say, no, you've got to work for it. And in doing that, you will get a greater sense of satisfactory and permanent self-esteem than you ever could just being born with it. Well, makes sense to me. Right, I hope that was useful, and it was lovely to talk to you. And I am going to see you now on Friday, right? Yes, that's right. Okay, so have a peaceful and fulfilling and satisfactory engagement with the Venus-Saturn aspect in the sky. I expect it looks very nice in the sky, by the way. So if don't forget to look for it after sunset, when it goes dark after sunset. Look for the two bright lights together. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to say goodbye. Bye-bye.